this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze, and with me, Eric.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, McCabe.
It's been a while.
So yeah, guys, thank you so much for your patience. Apologize that we've missed 2 weeks of Disc Golf Answer Man.
2 weeks in a row.
Woo! First week we were in Pro World. We were at Pro Worlds in Georgia, and then came back and quickly I left for San Diego, California. We'll get into why we went to California, but so just a lot of moving and grooving. Just wasn't able to sit down and record an episode for you guys, so apologize for that. But we are here. Oh, I forgot to introduce Robert.
Oh, that's cool.
Was it on accident or on purpose?
When you show up 4 minutes late,
That's
right.
true.
You don't get an
You
introduction.
don't get an introduction. So, anyway,
Everybody, I'm Robert.
let's talk about what happened. We were at Pro Worlds for 4 days,
Mm-hmm.
and then Eric was there for a couple days.
Yep.
We were there to support our team at the World Championships. We were in Georgia. It was as humid as I thought it was going to be. But we had a really good time watching our team players. Well, watching everybody play. Just really good disc golf action out there. Of course, we are excited at Paige Pierce winning her 4th World Championship. And then Ricky Wysocki from Latitude 64 won his 2nd World Championship.
Repeat.
Repeat. So really good stuff all around. And then on day, was it round 3 that was an all Latitude 64 card?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
round
so
3.
that was kind of exciting.
That
We
was
had
super cool.
Ricky, Johnny McRae, Cameron Cole Glazer, and Devin Owens.
Yep.
Yes. So that was really cool stuff. So
Yeah.
anything that you guys could recall that kind of stands out during Pro Worlds Week? I know we're kind of late with you guys talking about Pro Worlds, but we were there, so I thought we could share some.
Sure. I'll say just one thing about one of our other team players that did really well. Zach Melton ended up tied for 10th.
Top 10.
He didn't have a great first round. It wasn't bad. I think it was rated 1,000 or somewhere around there. But then averaged 1030-ish the rest of the event to move up every round.
The other 3 rounds.
Yeah, which normally he would have a little bit more time to move up. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it was really cool to see him finish well. I walked with him for his last 9 holes, and he just played really solid, kept his head about him, and yeah, it was cool.
Now, I got to go, or we all got to go to the International Disc Golf Center. I went through the museum, and if you guys kind of want to see, if you've never been there and you want to see what's inside the International Disc Golf Center, on our vlog videos, obviously at youtube.com/dynamicdiscs, you can see what's going on there. We have about 4 videos about our trip there. Anything stand out for you, Eric McKay, while you were there?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it was nothing really stands out.
Sure.
You know, as a positive or a negative. It didn't. I'll be honest. It didn't feel like a World Championships.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because I wasn't competing, maybe.
Yeah.
But it didn't. I mean, the 4 rounds obviously is the big reason why it didn't feel like a traditional World Championships. But
And in June too.
yeah, and early, very very early. Like it's kind of weird. Next year's Worlds is in September.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Yep.
To think that. But you know, I thought PDGA did a pretty good job of running it. The courses, I really like Jackson. I think Jackson's a pretty quality course. It's very challenging. It's long. It's tight. But for the most part, it's fair. You know, minus 3 holes, I think. The 3 little shorties that they have back to back to back.
Yeah. 12 is the worst of those.
And yeah, 12 is the worst, but none of them are really. I'm not going to say they're awful holes, but I'm going to say they don't fit on the course. You know, that's just kind of my thought process on it, I guess. But and then they play doubles on the Steady Ed course, and that course looks fun. I think the ladies would have really enjoyed playing that course because it is a very challenging technical course and just overall quality World Championship level course, in my opinion.
Right.
The base course, what was it called?
Fort Gordon.
Fort Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the front 9 was pretty decent. It was a little more open. You can really stretch it out a little bit more, unlike at Jackson or the back 9. The back 9 was nothing like I was expecting.
Yeah.
People told me it's really tight, it's unfair, it's dumb. I didn't think it was dumb. I didn't think it was super tight. It just seemed too fresh.
Like it wasn't quite ready. That's what I was thinking.
Well, and I'd heard a rumor that there had never been a tournament played on that course, which blows my mind that they would allow a major to happen there, never having a tournament played on it. But overall, I thought the courses were great, minus a couple holes at Jackson and hole. I think it's hole 15 at Fort Gordon is probably one of the worst courses that they played that week.
Worst holes, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
sorry, one of the worst holes that they played. But no, overall, I thought PDGA did a great job running the event.
So it might seem like an obvious answer, Eric, but why is it important, or why does that stand out to you that it was they had the World Championship there, and yet it was a course that no tournament was at? Why would that be important?
Well, you gotta go through the hoops. You gotta have a course that oh well, we're gonna have to fix hole 8 because there's a backup there that's half an hour long. Just basically the flow of everything, how it plays, how it scores. Just having that knowledge going into a world championship, a major event, is very important.
Yeah,
I thought there was standards on that. You can't just have a brand new course, but
yeah.
But I mean, of course, it's the PDGA that ran it, so they can kind of. I'm not saying make their own rules, but I mean, yeah.
I was curious about that too, and I know that one of the standards is just how long the course has to be in the ground ahead of time, so that people can practice it.
Set up.
Yeah, but this wouldn't really apply to that because it's been in the ground for a little while. I was surprised that they hadn't run a tournament on it either, but
I think
that's their prerogative.
I think the reason that they really wanted to host it out there in the final day out there, a lot to do with the military base,
right?
And they wanted to have people that live on the base or at the base to come out and spectate. And I think a lot of the rain kind of maybe scared a lot of people off the last day. And to be fair, it's almost a good thing that there wasn't a big gallery, because I cannot even imagine a massive gallery trying to squeeze their way through those woods and trying to find a spot to safely spectate.
Yeah, it would have been really, really congested. Starting on hole 10, you could see them tee from the box, and then up until hole, 16 or so, every tee box would have been way too crowded, and you wouldn't have really been able to see anything. So, yeah, it for them to not have a big gallery, I don't think was a downside there.
Correct.
Because it would have just
to go
been bad for
to
the
go
players.
and not to drag this on by any means, but I did really feel bad for the women and kind of felt bad for Paige, because she's competing for a world title. The ladies are all competing for that world title, and I caddied for Paige the final round, and there was, how many people would you say? Maybe 20?
I was going to say closer to 40, but it's still not a lot. It's not like it usually is.
I wouldn't say 40. There may have been 40 around the green on 18.
That's what I mean. But the whole round.
But I'm talking the
right.
round.
Yeah.
They deserve to have that. And them taking the final 9 away, that kind of helps showcase, the top 4 players. And then, after Paige won the world title, they're like, all right, congratulations. Now go ahead and move off the green, please. We've got other cards coming in.
Yeah.
That kind of just like, oh, man, that kind of sucks. But
yeah.
I don't know. Live and learn. I mean, you'll never know unless you try it, and that's what it's about, tweaking things until we get it right.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, amongst a lot of people, and I've seen on Facebook and stuff like that, the criticism that's the same, so we're not making up anything new or, anything, but a lot of people didn't like the 4 rounds. Some people thought that the course wasn't quite ready. I heard some people talk about why wasn't it all just right at the International Disc Golf Center, because they have 3 courses there that would have been up to the standards of a world championship, so they could have done there. But for all that, it turned out to be a good event. PDGA did a good job of keeping things rolling. I know they did a really good job of keeping water out on the course, or at least they had people out because they knew Georgia was going to be hot and humid, so they were prepared for that. They even had to kind of step things up because they thought about the players, but didn't think about the spectators and stuff needing water as well, because obviously you don't want anybody to get hurt out there. I know that they were very excited about having us there. I say us, I mean like disc golf there, because a lot of local disc golfers were excited to see all the big names they're playing and stuff playing on their course. When we went to the players' party at the Swiss Art, what was it called? The Swiss Army knife? No, yeah. I can't remember the name of the bar.
You're talking about the Stillwater Tap Room.
Yes, the Stillwater Tap Room.
But all that swimmy, slappy,
So anyway,
Samsonite.
We had fun there. We played some darts and had a good time there. So that seemed to be good for the people that wanted to get out and cut loose as far as during World Championship week.
Right. And one of the things they did earlier in the week that I really liked was just the kind of lawn games and barbecue that they did at the International Disc Golf Center.
Yeah, that was fun.
A lot of our players were out there crushing people at Spike Ball and Can Jam.
That was after round 1, right?
Yeah. That was really cool. I liked that. I think maybe even more than the players' party at the bar, just because there's a bunch of people running around and just having a good time.
Playing some Can
But
Jam.
either way, it was all good.
Yeah, so good stuff. So like you said, Eric, we live and learn, figure out what we're going to do for next year. I know that people were already talking about it happening in Vermont, so looking forward to that.
It is beautiful.
It's going to be really nice.
I'm telling you.
One quick plug before we head to the question, guys. Nissan Stadium, this is it. Not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, July 15th, we'll be out in Nashville playing some disc golf in the Titan Stadium. I'm sorry. The Nissan Stadium. Great. We're going to get sued. No, we're going to be home of the Tennessee Titans, the Nissan Stadium. We're going to have right now we got a little over 200 people signed up, so it's going to be a really good time. You're going to have plastic flying through the air in the stadium.
Sweet plastic.
Yes, sweet Oh, yes, because you're going to have some
fluid slammers.
Exclusive stuff that you can only get through the Nissan Stadium. Fluid slammer, and then a overmold. Ceric. Yes, forgot the mold, what it was. So good time. Still plenty of time to sign up. Eric and I will be leaving early next week. We're going to meet up with Paige and Zach, see if we can do some filming out there. And then, of course, they're going to go out to the Nissan Stadium to kind of have fun with everybody, along with Eric Oakley and Tina Stenitis. So if you guys are in that area and you want a chance to meet the pros, come out, sign up, and you can go out there and have some fun. So it'll be good. Should be good times. Oh, and confirmed, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, will be there as well.
Nice.
So he's going to have fun with us. So if you want to meet him, you can go out there too.
Yeah, and if you want to meet some people that aren't like the pros, Bobby and I will be there also.
Well,
I know you said that earlier, but
I'm going to be there.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm also going to be. I just don't get to go early like you guys.
So we don't need to get into that.
My bad.
Anyway, all right, let's get to the questions. We got plenty of Speakpipe questions, so we're going to hop on into that. Guys, right now I have the question form turned off because we are way behind with 50-some-odd questions. So we're going to try to bust through the Speakpipe and see how much time we have left for the other questions. So thanks again for your patience as we get all these taken care of. This first one, go to discgolfanswerman.com and you can submit a Speakpipe question. It's kind of like leaving a voicemail. Also, I'm going to experiment with some of the other things. If you've got the app Anchor on iOS or on Google Play, there's an app called Anchor, and it's kind of like a short-form podcast-type app. We're going to try to post some short stuff out there, and maybe there's a way for you to actually, if you have the app, you can call into the show and get your opinion. We might feature that on future episodes. So going to kind of experiment with that because it's starting to be popular among people that listen to podcasts. So make sure you get that app so you can hear from us and search for Disc Golf Answer Man. All right, first one is from Dylan. Let's see what Dylan has to say.
Hello, Disc Golf Answer Man crew.
Sorry about that.
I'm having a little bit of an issue finishing off my bag. So in my bag currently, I have a Prime and a Lucid Witness. I have an Original Truth in Prime Plastic, and then I have a Lucid EMAC Truth. Then I also have a Prime Judge. I can't find a good distance driver to finish off my bag, though. I currently have a Biofusion Sheriff, but it just doesn't seem to quite work for me at this time. What are your suggestions for a good distance driver that'll round out my bag? Thank you.
Well, it's kind of it's a little difficult to make a suggestion because you have a Witness in there, and you also have a Biofusion Sheriff, but you didn't let us know how those fly for you.
Right.
And they are very different discs.
Yeah, but I suppose I'm guessing that if the Sheriff is not working for you, it's probably going to be too overstable for a distance driver for you. So the Witness is working great as maybe a straight flyer, maybe straight to slightly understable. So I would suggest maybe a Renegade, or even something that Bobby throws is like an air trespass.
Bobby likes to throw the air trespass too.
Yes, he does.
Oh, and I got to give hats off to Mr. Eric McCabe. He gave me one of his air trespass from way back in the day.
One of the early runs.
I know I've got to throw. Maybe I can throw it tonight at bag tags. I haven't got to throw it yet. So anyway, so you're saying like a Renegade or an air trespass?
I'm saying a lighter weight Renegade or maybe even an air trespass for a nice distance driver. I'm going back to the trespass as a distance driver.
Eric has been bombing a trespass lately.
It's been ridiculous.
Killing it.
Like trying to find the right sheriff line or run or plastic type, and it seems to be a little bit too understable for full power shots.
And for you.
For me.
Not for everybody.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. For me. And so I had this trespass in there. I was like, I'm going to try this thing. And oh, my gosh.
It's beautiful, too.
It was Lucid.
I like a newer one or a beat it?
It was brand new.
Oh, brand new, okay.
But it was...
it's a green Lucid.
Green Lucid. And, man, it was... Hole 1 at the camp is the course...
The new
church course.
Yeah.
I was probably, 40 past?
Yeah. And, I mean, that's probably 500 or so.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Kaboomed.
Yeah.
All right, next one is from Nick.
What up, guys? This is Nick from Seattle. Just had a quick question. What's going to get you the most distance? It's going to be a hyzer flip or kind of a flex shot? Let me know, and thanks for all the great work.
For me personally, my most distance is going to be from a hyzer flip flex shot, actually. I can absolutely get a lot more distance, even if you just think about the angle when the disc comes out with a hyzer and flips over to the right and rides. And then what's it do when it slows down? It finishes left. Forcing a disc over is, for me personally, I don't get as much distance out of it because there's so much variation on the angle and how hard you want to throw it, and you just get a lot more movement out of the disc, I would say,
right,
on a hyzer flip.
Yeah, for me at least, the reason I like to throw hyzer flip for longer distance shots is that when I come over the top of an overstable disc, a lot of times I think you're disengaging some of your bigger muscle groups, and so you're losing out on a little bit of power. But that's how my swing is. It's a more of a natural hyzer swing, and so I would assume it would be hyzer flip to kind of a flex would give you the most distance, but I've seen people crush them on just like really overstable discs on flex lines. I would try hyzer flip first. That'd be my suggestion.
Excellent. Next one is Jake from guess where?
St. Louis?
State Farm.
Let's see.
Hey, what's up, Mac and Breeze and Robert? This is what I sound like when I make fun of people, McCall. Nice. Or for short, we can just go with Robert McCall. Hey, so last podcast, Eric, I heard you wistfully ask when some other Jake called in, is that Jake from St. Louis? Oh, please. Gee, I hope so. So I figured I'd give you guys a call.
Gee, I hope so.
So right now my game's kind of plateaued, and my question
maybe because you make fun of
what
people?
Do you guys do to break through your plateaus? My recent approach has kind of been like just go out and work on whatever was costing me strokes in the last round, but I feel like that kind of has me running in circles, and that I kind of hammer down one part of my game, and then I feel like the next round there's some other part that's out of whack. So I guess you guys try and really develop your strengths so that you have amazing strengths and that mask your weaknesses, or do you try and develop your weaknesses so that you kind of have a more well-rounded game? Yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, especially you, Robert McCall, so that because I know you're trying to do that exact same thing right now. So yeah, let me know, and yeah, thanks guys. Bye.
Cool. That's probably the best nickname I've gotten so far.
I have no weaknesses.
Turns out I throw every shot perfectly.
Yeah, that is my weakness.
Wow.
I have no weakness.
That's right. I work too hard.
Yeah.
I care too much.
I care too much.
So for me,
Center stage, Robert, go for it.
Yeah, I get to talk about disc golf. For me, when I'm working on things that I'm not great at, I like to.
Which there's a laundry list of these things.
By the way, there's a lot. I like to for me, I don't really focus in on one necessarily at a time. If I think I'm really insufficient in, say, throwing anhysers or something, which I really struggle with. I can throw anhysers fine, but I don't have a consistent release on them every single time. So when I'm having trouble with that, I will go out to the field with my discs and throw a lot of flat shots, and then I'll try and take my body angle from straight up for a flat shot to where I would normally tip it over toward the ground for a hyzer, work on getting my body angle a little bit farther back for an anhyzer. And so I just go out and do field work when I'm trying to get over a plateau. Now, having that said, I always am just looking for ways to play to my strengths when I play a disc golf course. So for me, I throw putters pretty well, a lot on straight lines. I think I can control that disc really well. Just straight lines in general and hyzers. I'm pretty good at both of those things. And so when I'm working on, when I'm looking at a course and trying to figure something out, if I see maybe there's an anhyzer line or maybe there's a forehand, if I'm not feeling confident with my anhyzer, I won't worry about throwing the anhyzer. I'll just throw the forehand or vice versa. So for me, when I'm working to get over plateaus, I go to the field and I do field work. But when I'm trying to attack a new course, I play to my strengths. If there's a straight line to be had, I'm throwing the straight line. If there's a hyzer to be had, I'm throwing a hyzer. A lot of times with a putter for me. So
yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't.
I never have plateaus. I've gotten better since I started playing. Don't know if you heard about me. I won a Worlds. It's not a big deal.
I've had plenty of plateaus in my career.
For sure.
Plenty. And I honestly, what's helped me fight through those is time off.
Oh, yeah.
Is not just going out and forcing something, trying to continuously throwing in a field is great, but if you're doing bad habits, that's not a good thing.
Correct.
To continue that process. So I'll take a week or so off, and I have actually noticed anytime I go out of town and then I come back home and play my home courses, typically I kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Or take some time off, I come back. It's kind of like muscle memory, like riding a bike, so to speak. I feel like, I don't know if it's you miss it or what it is, but you're not thinking a whole lot. You're just going out there, maybe even thinking, well, I haven't played in a while. I'm probably not going to play that great. But for some reason, that's really helped me fight through some things in the past.
Absolutely. And if part of the reason that you're at a plateau is that you just feel exhausted, like you've worked on the same thing for a long time, that's a fantastic idea. Take a week or two off. Mm-hmm. And when you come back, it's just like you said, muscle memory, but also you're not thinking about it as much. You're just ready to go play. Like,
you're just throwing shots.
Yeah, you get the itch. You know what I'm talking about when you haven't played for a minute and you're like, dude, I want to go play. I have to go throw today. Mm-hmm. When it's like that, you're not really concerned about, I'm throwing my anhysers poorly today. Yeah. You're just like, dude, I get to play disc golf. This is awesome. Yeah. So,
Bobby, what do you do during plateaus?
I don't play enough to have a plateau.
Bobby's life is a plateau.
Let me ask you this, though.
But in disc golf, not in professional.
So there's two different schools of thought here. And you kind of alluded to it on it, both you guys. But so there's one school of thought that says look at your weaknesses and work on your weaknesses and make your weaknesses become your strengths. And then there's another school of thought that says
stick to your strengths.
Stick to your strengths. Mm-hmm. Is it just a matter of what works best for you, I guess?
It depends on how strong your strengths are, I guess.
And how strong your weaknesses are.
Or how weak your weaknesses are.
Right.
Yeah.
So to answer that,
or how strong your
weaknesses,
your breath is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything.
That's okay. So for me, I struggle with anhysers sometimes, but that doesn't mean I just can't throw them. Right. So when I plateau on those, it's that I'm not hitting my line exactly how I want to. But when I miss those shots, I'm not missing by like 100 feet. And most of the time I'm missing by 30 or 40.
Except last week when we went and played.
Yeah.
That anhyzer you tried to throw on hole 3.
Which is hole 3?
The big long one that you really missed by more than 100 feet.
Oh, well. But that's when you're trying to throw super hard. That's silly.
Valid point.
But what I'm getting at is if you are only good at one thing and it's hyzers and you're really terrible at everything else, like you can't throw a straight shot and you can't throw an anhyzer, you can't putt well, you can't throw a forehand, then I would say for sure work on your weaknesses. Mm-hmm. Put a lot of time in on those. However, if you are pretty proficient at most things and just better at a couple of things. Keep those things in mind, and if you're good enough at those, you can play most every course. Especially if those are like throwing straight lines and and putting. You're going to play pretty well wherever you go. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Like you said, it kind of depends on how strong your weakness is. If it's something that you're just completely awful at, then yes, you absolutely should work on that.
Especially if it's putting.
Especially when it is putting.
Yep.
To me, putting, approaching, driving. Those are the three in that order that you need to work on. If you have a strong putt, work on the upshot. If you have a really bad putt but a great upshot, that's really not as bad as having, a horrible upshot, horrible putt. So for me, I think working on putting and approaching is two of the most important parts of the game.
Yep. Very cool. This weekend, which is, I guess depending on when you're listening to this, so
this could be 5 years ago.
Right. I'm still going to talk about it, though. The Rocky Mountain Women's Disc Golf Championships is presented by Dynamic Discs. So it's an event where it's an all-women's event. Obviously, it's in the name. But one of the cool things, I went to it last year, and one of the cool things was that guys sign up to be caddies for the women so that every woman playing has a caddy. I think that is really cool. It's a really cool event to kind of help keep growing the sport for women to play disc golf, and they have a really good time. There's a lot of cool prizes and just really cool stuff. Unfortunately, I will not be able to be there this year, but Doug is going out there to help Mr. Ray Woodruff. I know that Paige Pierce is going to be out there. Paige Bjerkes is going to be out there.
Isn't Doug one of the founders of this event?
I can't remember if he's the founder or like one
or
of the
just
early
helped
early
run
guys
it,
that
start
did
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it was him and Ray. I know Doug had a big role last year. I don't know if he had the same role as he did this year, but I'm sure he's going to obviously help Ray. But and then some other big names: Valerie Jenkins, Lisa Fakis, Hannah Leatherman, a few other names on there, and then they have a Masters division.
That starts this weekend.
It
starts Saturday,
July 7th.
Cool,
8th and 9th. So if you're in the Colorado area, Superior, Colorado, and you're listening to this and you find out about it, make sure you go out and support the women as they play in that event, because it's a really cool event to watch, and they have a really good time with it. So, and we're proud to be sponsors of it for sure.
Now, is that the largest women's event in the world?
No.
Okay.
It is. I do not believe it is.
It's one of, though.
It's
a huge women's event.
It is one of. I think I'm not sure about this, but I think the Daisy Chains event is larger.
That may be right.
So, cool. All right, let's move on to the next question. This one is from Tony.
What's up, Mr. Slick Breeze, EMAC, and Robert, not quite 1,000 McCall? This is Tony from Rochester.
Fair enough.
Big fan of the show. Couple of questions here. I don't know if this was already answered, but how do you guys handle people that throw temper tantrums on the course? I've run into it more often lately. I've been playing for a number of years, and I used to be like that until I finally decided I'm not having fun. But my second question is...
Oh, let's do the first one.
Pull out your
playing with Eric a lot.
Yes,
I know a lot about
yes.
this. He's a big temper tantrum type guy.
I like to kick my bag.
That's right. That's right. And other people.
Yes. Yeah. And Ralph.
Yeah. Sorry, Ralph.
No, I never kick him.
No, he's nice.
I kick him, Robert, first.
That's right.
Pull out your phone and videotape him and blast it on the internet. That'll stop him.
Got him.
Social media justice.
That'll help a little, I think.
I mean, I think, Eric, you've touched on this before. Basically, if you're in a competition, you need to just be worrying about yourself. Sure, it kind of gets to you. Mm-hmm. Sure, it kind of ruins the vibe. But you just got to figure out how to worry about your game. And, unless, like, we're trying to figure out something's OBE or you're watching
and of course, you still have to pay attention to the players.
Sure.
To know where their discs are, to make sure everything's going smoothly, whatnot. But it's tough to deal with that. And a lot of people feed off that anger. That's what helps them play well.
Yeah.
And a lot of I've actually played with other people that they know that this is affecting you, and that you're not going to say anything about it, so they're going to continue to do it.
Yeah.
Which is, sure, good job for finding a way to get in your competition's head, but that's not the, what do they call it, the whatever. It's just doesn't, to me, if somebody's affecting me, I will say something to them. I will say, hey, you need to calm it down a bit. Maybe even warn them. But try to just stay in your own bubble, so to speak, when that type of an eruption happens.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what his second part is.
EMAC being a former Discraft sponsored world champion, how do you feel when people come up to you with, say, like your EMAC signature titanium wasp and ask for an autograph on that now that you are DD sponsored? Thanks, guys. Love the show. Hope to hear from you.
It's a good question.
You say thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, I throw it in the closest body of water.
Shouldn't have been standing there.
Have you had a lot of people? I've never noticed that.
It happens. It happens.
Maybe at the begin. I mean, like recently, would it have happened, or more at the beginning of?
More at the beginning, but there are the people that live and die by the TI Wasp or the Buzz SS that used to be mine, and like a couple of people come up, hey, I've had this in my bag for years, when they just happen to run into me. I've got no problem signing whatever disc.
Yeah, your name on it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Innova,
yeah,
whoever.
Yeah, exactly. I have no issues, and I'm just honored that they want a signature, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes the tone out there on social media is that people are like brand, for lack of a better term, like brand Nazis.
Sure.
Like we cannot touch an Innova disc. Mm-hmm. We can't touch a Discraft. I mean, we've been places and people being like, oh, is that the new Innova? Oh, let me feel. I kind of feel, and through it and just to see what it's like. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like we're gonna like melt because we touch another brand. So it's a fair question. I get his question, but I think people misunderstand that the way the branding works. Sure, we tout Dynamic, Westside, and Latitude, but that's, we work for them and we believe in the product and we're going to back that product. But that doesn't mean we're not going to
be offended.
Yeah, but we're not going to succeed as a company by tearing other companies down. We're going to succeed as a company by putting out the best product, having the best people, and having a good process and the best customer service. So
yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I'm not going to promote any of those.
Sure,
by any means. I follow a lot of them on social media, and I'll like some of their stuff, but I'm not gonna share out their stuff because I'm a supporter of DD and Latitude. And,
right, we like to eat, so we got to sell our stuff.
We do like to eat.
We do like to eat. All right, next one is from
Boo.
Could you tell what I was going to say?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Here come the funk.
What's up, guys?
Oh, no funk.
No funk intro today.
Oh, boo. Boo, boo. Boo, boo. Boo, boo.
Boo-boo?
Boo-boo.
I'm just going to boo your boo-boos.
Okay, boo-boo.
Boo.
For this particular question, it's a much more serious question.
Oh.
It's particularly for Bobby.
Oh.
And Bobby, my question to you is,
All right.
Thank you, Boo.
That was...
that was a serious question.
Yeah, that was serious.
But it was only for you. What's your answer?
My answer? All right, that's enough.
I like Houdini.
That's enough seriousness. Next one comes from Big Worm.
What a big worm.
Hey guys, how's it going? I need your guys' opinion on something. I read something interesting recently, and I'd love your guys' take on it. It says disc golf was first invented in the early 1900s. The first game was held in Bladworth, Saskatchewan, Canada in 1926. Ronald Gibson and a group of his Bladworth elementary school buddies played a game of throwing tin lids, which were trash can lids, into 4-foot wide circles drawn into sandy patches on their school grounds. Now, do you guys believe that these were the first games of disc golf ever played, or is it not until the 60s or 70s that the first games of disc golf were ever played? I'd love to hear your guys' take on this, and thanks, guys.
I have literally never thought about that before.
I never heard of that.
Me neither. What I would say is that I'm sure that somebody did something similar before that, so it's probably really difficult to say when the actual first time that anything like this was done. So I don't really care to credit or discredit anything like that. It is crazy to think that the game has probably been going on for, a little over 100 years of people just finding things to throw and throwing them at things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very insightful.
I mean, my question, my answer would be either way. What does that do for me right now?
Right.
Is that going to change? Is that going to? I mean, sure, you need to know history and stuff like that, but I don't know that that'll really affect any outcome we have. I mean, it's all of a sudden
our growth doesn't look as impressive,
right? Oh, because
if disc golf started in 1920, as opposed to 1960.
We don't have to tell that.
We just don't want to tell anybody. Right. We'll keep it our little secret there, Big Worm. All right, next one comes from Mikey.
What is up, Disc Golf Answer Man crew? Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, Eric the Disc Golf Yoda McCabe, and Robert Not the Intern McCall. This is Mikey here with another quick question for you guys. I've been playing disc golf for just about 2 years now, and I have found something to be kind of frustrating, and that is trying to figure out what shoes to wear when I play disc golf. Now, like I said before, I've been playing for about 2 years, and I've already gone through 2 pairs of sneakers, which to me is really frustrating. I like to get something that's going to last a long time and just be a really good investment. So I just want to know, what do you guys wear? What kind of shoes are you wearing when you play disc golf? I'm down here in South Florida. We have a lot of rainy weather, a lot of swampy, kind of muddy, especially if you're playing in the morning with all the dew. My shoes are getting wet. They're getting ripped up. The tee pad, with my follow through, trying to figure out what is going to be the best shoe that I can invest some money in, especially if I'm going to be playing disc golf for, the years to come. Just want to figure this out. So if you guys could answer that, what shoes you wear, that would be fantastic. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do. I really want to come to Emporia in the next couple years, maybe for GBO, maybe come meet you guys, come to the store and check it out. But once again, thanks for everything, and as always, keep it real.
You'll definitely want to come to GBO if that's you're thinking when to come to Emporia, because that's a good time to see everything that happens in Emporia, disc golf and dynamic discs. So the best shoes. So here's the thing, guys. You are, and Erica said this before, you got to remember, you are taking rubber and basically scraping it against concrete over and over and over again, especially with certain styles. My gosh, if you look at some of Eric's old shoes, you would know he's a toe dragger, because that's where his shoes wear out the most. And this used to be a big topic for us because we had shoes for a while. Maybe some of our listeners don't know. It was, how many, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah. Well, we came out with the Discovers 3 years ago.
Was it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Right.
So we thought it'd be kind of cool. And they were supposed to, the first was supposed to be more of a lifestyle shoe. It was more kind of
like a skate type shoe.
Yeah, skate type shoe.
Disc over
shoe. And
see what I did there?
And some people started wearing them to play disc golf, which made sense, but they didn't last that long playing disc golf. So anyway, what I'm getting at is you can't really expect, even out of high quality, when I say high quality, I mean like a name brand and a expensive shoe, because you're putting a lot of wear and tear, obviously, depending on how much you play. For myself, I don't tear them up as much because I don't play as much, maybe once or twice a week. I've had Adidas, what are they? The
Swift.
Yeah, the
Swift
when Paul
R's
McBeth,
whatever. Yeah.
The whole thing came out with Paul McBeth. I wanted to show my support for that, and because they had a coupon code and stuff, so I wanted to show Adidas that there were a lot of disc golfers out there. So I bought a pair, and those have lasted me pretty good.
Yeah,
maybe
yours are
about
waterproof
a year.
too.
Yeah, they're waterproof. About a year. I thought the waterproofness was going out, but then I found out there was a little tear on the side, so that usually helps. Now I use the Solomon that we have at our store. I didn't get the waterproof ones. We didn't have those at the time I got these. And I really like them. They're comfortable. I really can tell a difference from wearing just my regular tennis shoes, my Nikes, when we're playing out at Peter Pan or something like that, just from the walking, the support you get. So I would say definitely a trail style shoe would be the best. Now, is there a best brand out there? I don't know about you guys, but I get people that say Merrell's are the best. They say Solomon's are the best. They say Keen is the best. You know,
there's got people that are saying Adidas right now.
Adidas are the best. It really depends on.
I think it's personal preference.
Yeah,
totally. I mean, and for me personally, I've been using some Solomons as well.
Yeah.
I tend to tear the toes out a little bit more. So if you're a toe dragger, I recommend the Keens because they have a bigger piece of rubber across the toe,
box, yeah.
and they're made for disc golf. And I am a firm believer. Bobby kind of touched on it, but I'm a firm believer in supporting those that support us. So that's why I don't necessarily recommend going out and buying a pair of Nike hikers or even Merrell type of a shoe because they don't support disc golf as a whole like Keen does. Keen sponsors players in disc golf.
Paige
so
Pierce.
yeah, one of our players, and I'm just a firm believer in you know showing support to those companies, and so I support Keen all day.
Yeah.
Yep. I wear Salomons as well. I don't know if it's Salomon or whatever it is, but I have
I don't know.
I have a few pairs of those that I've accumulated over
Salmon.
God,
Fish.
I'm so dumb.
Aluminum.
How did I not know what it was? Salmon. Yeah, I've got 2 non-waterproof pairs and 2 waterproof pairs that I'll just kind of rotate around so that they wear in somewhat evenly.
Wait a minute. You have 4 pairs of shoes that you use for disc golf?
Oh yeah, but I didn't buy them all at the same time. They were just over time. Like one would start to wear out, so I'd get a different one. And when those start to wear out, I get a different one. But it's not like these are out of life. They're a little bit more worn down.
So if it's like a crappy weather day, you'd wear these.
Exactly.
So I think I misunderstood you. You have 4 pairs of shoes,
dude,
that you wear just for disc golf?
We have talked about this. I, for sure, without even having to think through and count, have more pairs of shoes than my wife. 100%. I bet I have twice as many.
But do you have more shoes than Chris Edson?
I don't know. I'd have to check his closet. I think Chris and I are probably on par with. I love shoes. Disc golf shoes.
You're an accessory kind of guy, aren't you?
I am an accessory kind of guy. Thank you for asking. Just look, check out these shoes. I just got these recently, and they're awesome. So there you go.
Hey,
I got some new ones too. Actually.
I look the same.
I actually have the same shoes that Bobby has right now.
So I think maybe there was something wrong with the microphone. You have 4 pairs of shoes that you wear for disc golf.
Probably at least. I don't know, man.
I'm teasing you.
4.
So anyway, what you were saying?
I like to accessorize. No, I just different ones for different types of days. And then if it's going to be grass, I have some that have a little bit taller tread. If it's going to be concrete tee pads, but it's not slick outside, it's not wet or anything, I'll use a different pair, just stuff like that.
What if it's concrete tee pads?
Okay.
But it's been wet, so the option is to play to the side of the tee pads.
I have a pair of shoes that is
strictly
really,
for that.
Is really, really good on wet tee pads.
Oh,
Those
you
are
don't bring the
ones I
other
choose.
shoes in your.
That's
in
when
your
he
disc golf
carries
bag?
I
his
stick them.
extras.
Yeah, I stick them in my cart and then just switch. No.
All right, Mikey. So basically, there really is no way to run. There's no way to point to one shoe or one brand to say these are the ones.
Right. But trail runners, though, like aggressive trail type shoes.
Yeah, you want hikers.
Hikers.
So I guess what I'm getting at is if Merrell is a brand that you trust and you've had them and they're comfortable, go for it. If sponsoring those who sponsor us is kind of important for you, you're going to find a nice pair of Keens. I'm sure that'll work for you. If you want to support disc golf stores, they probably carry Solomons and Keens and stuff like that. So, you may have your different reasons.
Yeah. Excellent.
Right. Excellent.
Excellent.
Next one is from Joey.
Kangaroos.
What?
Put your pennies in them.
Oh, there you go.
Remember those?
Oh, you mean penny loafers?
No, the kangaroos.
Kangaroo shoes?
Yeah. The roos. Used to have little zippers on the side, like a little pouch.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Now I got to look it up.
Yep. I don't think they make them anymore.
I like that you asked if he meant penny loafers.
Sure enough, Ruth. Do you know what penny?
Yeah, of course I know what penny loafers are.
You don't play? You don't
love
play?
shoes. I know what penny loafers are.
True.
What type of T-pad for penny loafers?
I actually have driving loafers, driving moccasins. They're a little bit different, so we'll talk about it later.
Okay. Next one from Joey.
What up, guys? This is Joey. Just a big shout out to Eric, the best disc in the game, McCabe,
all right,
Bobby, the deputy hoarder, Brown, and the intern.
True.
Robert.
Dude, hateful. I'm full time. Full time.
You went from not intern to the intern.
Listen, I'm full time, just not as long as these guys.
Temp.
No, it's not stupid. We already have a temp.
Throwing short tee shots with a putter of under 200. I'm more likely to birdie a 270 to 350 foot hole where I can just really crank out a drive. But I just can't really seem to get a birdie on the smaller holes, and it just makes me feel horrible about my game. Am I throwing the wrong discs, the type of discs, the wrong type of plastic? Do I need to stand still? What do your guys think for approach? I'm about, I'd say, an intermediate player. So if you guys can give me some help on that, it would really sure make me feel better a lot about my game. Thanks, guys.
What do you think?
So it's shorter holes he's having troubles with. I would say probably step one is what discs you're throwing on those holes. Putter shots maybe, or a nice easy mid-range. And a great way to work on that is just simply go to a field. And a football field works great because it has the hash lines and you know how far you're throwing to the end zone. You don't even need a basket out there, really. Just kind of a reference point, throw to the uprights or whatever you want to do. But just getting comfortable throwing that distance. Another great way, something I learned early on, I guess, in my career was me and my buddy would just go play catch. And we would play catch with like either a putter or a softer disc, and we would stand it, whatever the distance was, 100 feet, 150, maybe 200 every now and then if we had the room to really stretch it out. But I would find it being a lot easier to play catch or throw right to him. And then I could use that mindset, that process on the course when I'm stepping up to that particular hole or that approach. You'd be amazed at how many times that your buddy says, hey, just throw me that disc, and how many times you can just throw it right to him without even thinking. And that's, I think, where a lot of troubles get in the way is just what's between the two ears.
For sure. And when you're throwing shots that are that short, it's about developed touch, right? That's the reason that you can throw 100 feet or 200 feet really easily with whatever disc in your hand is because you have thrown that a bunch of times and your touch is really, really good. That means when I say touch, I mean the amount of spin that we put on the disc and your distance control kind of by your nose angle or however you choose to do it. If you are having trouble on holes that short, I would recommend going to a beginner-friendly course in your area. I mean, throwing on hash marks is obviously great. That's super good.
And that's obviously if there isn't a beginner-friendly. Because
Sure.
not every town has those.
Well, they might not.
Beginner-friendly style courses.
They might not, but like in Emporia, we just got a couple of beginner-friendly courses. What I've done is just take a couple of putters out there. And there are a few holes that maybe I'd want a mid-range for, or even a driver if it's a weird ceiling or something. But if you learn to throw putters on those holes, you get more practice with those discs. So instead of just bombing your drivers, now you have a little bit more touch. And then that's how I think you excel on those shorter type holes.
Yep.
All right, next one comes from Casey and the Sunshine Band. No. Casey says,
what's going on, Disc Golf Answer Man crew? My name's Casey Allen, and currently I'm living in Kalispell, Montana. I've been listening to you guys for about 3 weeks now, roughly, ever since your guy J-Ray came by with the RV and set up shop at our Lawrence Park. Really cool dude, and man, can he throw. I watched him huck some drivers like some 500, 600 feet, and kind of regret not asking him to throw like half my bag that day. But I got a ton of great info from him, and I have actually a funny story I'll send you separately about how the sky ate my EMAC Truth that I bought from him that day.
Oh, okay.
But my question for today, I was curious about aha moments. Curious, first, what like aha moment kind of sticks out in your mind when you went from like not so good form to great form? And I was also curious what it was that got you thinking maybe I should go pro. Like, so either or both, cool. But I was just curious. Thank you guys for the great podcast, and maybe next time I call in, I'll try to get some really dope funk music going on underneath. Anyway, keep it up. Thanks again. Bye.
People wanting to bring in the funk.
Bring in the funk. For me, my aha moment, I suppose, was a long time ago now, but happened to just be out having a fun round, and we had a couple cameras out there, and we were just kind of just filming, having fun. And when I went back and watched it, then I was like, wow, my form is awful bad.
Garbage.
So I found some YouTube videos of some players that I respected and had similar body types or size-wise, and tried to mimic it a little bit, pick up on things. And, in the beginning, I wasn't really doing an X step. And when I incorporated that into my run-up and a couple other small tweaks here and there, it felt weird at first, but it weirdly got normal, like within even that same round. And that's when it was like, okay, wow, this is actually working for me. I need to just continue this. So I just continued filming myself throwing and kind of focusing on that during the evenings and really trying to nail down a consistent form.
Yeah, for sure. Mine was, I'd been playing casually for, I don't know, probably a year and a half or a year or so. And I think we talked about this maybe one or two podcasts ago, but everything for me was really fast. Like my run-up was fast. I'm trying to move my arm really fast because that's how you throw far. You go fast. And one time, honestly, by accident, I just kind of stepped up slowly and threw, and it went farther than all my other ones. And so that was the aha moment for me, that like slow and smooth equals far. I don't have to run up as hard as I can, as fast as I can. In fact, that usually is a detriment to my distance.
Right.
For me, when I decided to play open, like I said, I played casually for maybe 2 years before I started playing tournaments. I played about 5 advanced tournaments because I had seen players in my area that I was comparable to. They were playing advanced, so I thought, I'm just going to go give it a shot. In my first advanced tournament, I played really poorly. In my second one, I played all right. And I played 5 or 6 of those, and then I realized I was making a whole lot of mistakes in the advanced field and still cashing and still beating people. And I wanted to see what was possible. I wanted to see what better players were doing, what lines they were taking, what was going through their head as they played. And so I moved up to open and knowing I was just going to take my knocks and not do exceptionally well. And that helped me to improve a lot more quickly.
Right. For me, it was a matter of wanting to get better, and knowing that moving up and playing with better players is going to make me better. And I actually ended my career on a really big win on my amateur career. I guess it was at the Kansas City Wide Open. I think it was like 99 or 2000 or something like that. I won that year. 2000. I won that year, and it was like, all right, it's time to move up for sure. So that's kind of when I knew that, hey, I should probably move up and not worry about playing advanced if I want to move forward in my disc golf career.
For sure.
All right, so I mentioned earlier that myself and Jeremy Rusko went out to San Diego, California, and we wanted
San Diego.
we checked out Morley Field. If you ever heard of Morley Field, it's
very popular.
It's very
It's got to be one of the most popular courses.
Well, it's like one of the only disc golf courses in San Diego.
That's what they're saying. I mean, and it's pay to play, $4 during the week and $5 on the weekend, and it's $1 more because they have so many people out there that a lot of people don't understand this in business. But if you have overwhelming, you've got to control it. You basically raise the price, and they say they still get 400 people that come out and play on the weekend. So it's really amazingly popular.
That's crazy.
It's a cool course. It's not by any means like a super long course where you're really going to throw a lot of big arm throws, but it's got some really cool holes in it. So anyway, we wanted to go out there. We were going out there to talk to OGIO. Of course, you guys know OGIO makes our bags, and they recently were purchased by Callaway. Callaway was looking to add on businesses to their portfolio, and OGIO was one of the brands that lines up with what Callaway's vision was. And so I'm going to keep it real.
Keep it real, dude.
When we first heard about this, we were like, crap. What's going to happen to OGIO? What's going to happen to our bags? Now, obviously, we would have figured something out. We wouldn't have just not make bags, but it would have like changed the course of what we were going with. So we wanted to make sure we met with them to kind of give them a taste of disc golf and what we're about and stuff like that. So we actually went to California. So we thought we'll make it a trip and we'll go out to Morley Field and check it out. And it's really cool. And Mitchell, one of our team members, is out there doing a great job representing Dynamic Discs out there. And they just had nothing but good things to say about what's happening there. So if you're in that area, make sure you check out Morley Field. It's really cool stuff. But good news from the meeting with Callaway, more so on the OGIO side, because OGIO is still going to be OGIO, and they're still going to make bags and equipment. But Jeremy had a slideshow for them to see some statistics. They showed them clips of the Glass One Open from last year, Jomez Productions coverage. And I got to tell you, when he was playing that, I was like, man, I'm so glad Jomez did this because it looks so good. It
looks so good, man.
Looks so good with the slow motion and the graphics and stuff like that. So hats off to Jonathan and the crew for that. They were amazed. Like, literally, like Jeremy was talking about some statistics, and that slide came up, and one guy was like, holy, did he just throw that thing that far? And, you know, it's like they'd never seen disc golf, and Johnny McRae did like a 50-foot putt, and they were like freaking out over that. So they got really excited about it. They thought it was really cool. They really felt like it aligned with what they're trying to do as far as with OGIO. So very confident that some cool things are coming down the line for OGIO and us. So that's exciting. And then we went to Sun Valley, a disc golf ball golf course that recently shut down. And we didn't know if we were going to have maybe some involvement of maybe reviving that course. Not sure how that's going to play out. Don't want to make any predictions or any calls on that because there's a lot of politics going on in that area and just a lot of different things. So, but we want to kind of see what goes on with Sun Valley and some of the disc golfers out there. So, really cool visit. Again, I know I always tell you guys, but we love sharing with you guys our journey as we do things in disc golf. We've got some videos out there to kind of show what we did out there and explains a little bit more. So cool stuff. You've never either you've never been to Morley Field, right? No.
I've been to the pro shop, but I didn't have time to play or anything. I just saw the first few holes.
Yeah, so really cool stuff. Next question comes from Nate from Maine. A little Maine representation here.
Hello to everyone in the DGAM crew. This is Nate from Maine again. And I was wondering about two questions. If you could make your own discs in the Dynamic Discs lineup, where would they compare as far as speed ratings and stability ratings, or where would they compare to other discs in your lineup? I would love to see something around like a speed 6 or speed 7 that's a little understable to maybe straight, kind of like a Leopard from Innova. I'd love to have a Dynamic Discs Leopard, but it wouldn't be a Leopard in my bag. Also like a speed 2, maybe speed 10 drivers on either side of the stability. I think that's kind of where you make a jump from a control driver to a little bit higher speed and distance. Anyway, where would you put it and what would you name it? The other thing would be, what's kind of an oddball thing you carry in your bag? I carry, Golden Retriever from you guys or your partner, and I carry, bug spray, stuff like that. But here in Maine, where we don't always have proper facilities when it's off times of years and there's not, porta potties around, it's good to have some TP and some baby wipes. So what do you carry?
Oh, gosh.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
So what's something you think we should have in our lineup? If they came to you and said, Eric, design the next mold.
Oh boy.
What would it be?
I don't know that we're really missing a whole lot. For me personally, I would like to see a slightly more stable Sheriff.
Yep.
I think. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the lineup. Maybe let's see. I think on the mid-range side, I think it'd be nice to have something between a Verdict and a Justice, something in there.
Yep.
I don't know what I would call it or what speed it would be because I really don't pay too much attention to speed on discs or numbers in general. So I don't know. I don't know what I would name it either.
Yep.
Yep. You, Robert?
I am privy to some information about discs that we may or may not be releasing next year. So I'm not going to say those discs. However, I would say something just like you said. A slightly more stable Sheriff would be I think would be a really good one. The Sheriff is a good speed for me, but for people who throw a little bit faster than me, something that's just got that little bit extra stability would be good. And then, man, I don't know. I'm with you. I really like the lineup that we have. The only name that comes to mind is Intern, because everyone keeps saying that about me. So
You would call it the Intern?
Yeah, the signature Intern.
Nice.
Which way would it turn, in or out? Intern.
It would just be. It would only be in the bag temporarily.
That's right. You couldn't keep it for forever. Yeah. Sorry, just for the summer.
Oh, okay.
For me, I didn't really throw a lot before DD became a thing, and I, of course, threw just the DD stuff. I remember when I first threw the Deputy, the way it felt and flew made me realize I was missing something like the Meteor. Mm-hmm. Just that feel of the almost. I know it's a mid range and a putter, but
it's a little bit shallower.
Yeah, that feel. I love the Meteor and I love the Comet, and I feel like the Deputy has that, brings that back to me. It's a putter that I can really. If I get on it a lot, it'll turn over. But if I just do a nice 80%, it'll go nice and straight. And I remember that was the shots I used to have with the Meteor, and the Comet was more of a nice straight shot.
Do you throw the Terces?
I used to throw the Terces.
Okay.
And then I found that I was only throwing it on certain holes, so I didn't think I needed it. And so the Warrant has kind of come into that play.
Oh, yeah.
So
cool. What do you have that's in your bag that's obscure, I guess?
Not much for me. I mean, I've got a few bags for when my dog relieves himself.
Drops a stink pickle.
That's right. Stink pickle. I like that one. I've never heard that one. That reminds me of when we did Will at Hyzer, and you said, I'm going to give her some onion. That's one of my favorite phrases. I'd say that's the only really unique thing. Otherwise, I just have lots of discs and some towels, and that's it.
Cool. I have, majority of the time, I'll have dog treats.
Yes, that's right.
In my bag, but
I don't
think
have
of anything that's like.
I don't have toilet paper. I know that.
No, just use a towel.
Just tear a towel into shreds.
A leaf. A big leaf.
Poison ivy.
Yeah, I'm thinking going over my bag. I don't have anything that you would think to find in a bag. Oh, I do have a. You used to have. I don't know if someone made it for you. Or you made them. They're
pull tag.
No
bag tags.
Yeah, but they were bottle openers.
Oh yeah, bottle.
That's got your little Emax silhouette on it. But the part that hooks onto anything is broke.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep thinking, I just need to get rid of this thing. It's in my my bag.
The thing.
Yeah,
oh,
it's just the thing. And every time I see it, I'm like at a course, so I don't think about it anyway. So, but that's not weird.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll have brand new Emac Truths that I hide on courses.
Yeah.
In the bag.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
No, yeah.
Stickers that I give out to people.
All right, next one is from Rich, also known as Sour Pickle.
Oh, better than Stink Pickle.
Yeah.
Stink Pickle.
Hey, Bobby, Emac, and Robert McCall, and whoever else is on the podcast there. My name is Rich. I've been playing disc golf for a little over a year to a year and a half, I believe. I have two questions about roller discs. Maybe first of all, do you guys have any recommendations of certain discs I should be throwing, ones that work best? Second question I have is on the weight of a disc for rollers. I currently bag an Opto Saint that I've been throwing slightly, but I got to thinking about the weight of the disc. Should I be throwing a disc that's heavier? Will the wind affect it even on the ground there as much? Or is a lighter one probably more what you want to throw so you can get it to turn over faster or even maybe to get it out farther? I don't know as far as rolling. I'd love to hear your opinion. Love the show, guys. Love what you do for the game of disc golf. I hope you have a good day.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah. All right, let's talk rollers.
Roll out.
Yeah. I would choose a heavier roller personally because rollers are always going to be affected by wind, but it's just the same as the aerodynamics of in-air flight is that if a disc is lighter, it's going to be affected by wind more than a heavier disc. whether that's bad for a roller or not depends on the roller that you're trying to throw. If you're trying to get a super max distance roller out there and you have a nice left to right wind, then maybe a lighter disc will do better because it would just keep getting the end. I just hit the microphone trying to show how this is. Keep getting the end kicked out from under it so it doesn't ever quite get to flat and turn over. But I don't think
stability will do that as well.
True, but I don't think it's ever going to be as consistent as a heavier disc. So I throw a heavier disc for rollers.
Yeah, I prefer heavier as well.
Yep. Bobby,
what?
What do you prefer?
What?
I don't have a roll. I don't have much of a flick. I don't have much of a roller.
Yeah.
I don't have any kind of roller.
Those
I don't know that I've
those
ever.
are your weakness.
That would be one of my weaknesses.
You got to work on it.
The only thing I ever think I tried to roll was
Witness?
the bagel.
Yes.
Oh,
you
the
did
bagel.
not roll it well.
And it didn't do very well.
Yeah.
So
Well, I tried to roll it too, and then it split in half.
right. So that was my. So
that
funny.
was your one roller of all
That was interesting that you guys both chose to
roll the
try to roll the bagel on an episode of Will It Hyzer.
Dude, it was really overstable, okay? It was really overstable.
The coolest thing. Sorry. The coolest thing happened yesterday, 4th of July. So my in-laws, my wife's parents, hadn't had
as in-laws are usually called.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
They
continue.
They got a new TV and they hadn't had internet for a while, and they finally got internet. So I was like, oh, I can now show you guys what I do by showing them a YouTube.
Yeah.
You know? So they're like, okay, let's watch it. So I bring up and I was like, looking, I was like, so here's one where we show people how we throw it, and we have a pro and myself. And here's one where we show people, here's the video where we show people what we do. And then I saw Will It Hyzer. I'm like, okay, so here's one that I really think you guys will like. And they were laughing at it. But what was really funny and cool is that my grandchildren, one is 8 and one's 3 or 4. Anyway, all of a sudden, it said Will It Hyzer, and we started talking about breakfast stuff. And they both were just glued at the TV, yes. And they were watching it. And the little Briley, the youngest one, was like, "Papa, you're not gonna throw bagels." It was just
jokes on you. I am going to throw bagels.
Anyway, I just thought it was a cool moment to see them get excited over a video, and I thought that's just kind of cool.
That's really cool. Yeah.
All right, where were we? I don't throw rollers.
Okay,
I probably need to learn.
It's a good one to have.
So
I don't know.
It's not.
I don't think
super
it's
necessity.
I don't think it's a necessity for a player like a recreational player like Bobby to learn how to throw a roller, unless it's just something he wants to add to his arsenal.
Yep.
But I mean, it's not gonna. He's not gonna play a tournament by any means. It's like, oh man, if I just knew how to throw a roller, I would have finished.
That's true.
Not last.
Good point.
Second to last.
Next to last.
Next one is from Dustin.
What's up, Disc Golf Answer Man crew? My name's Dustin, and this question is for Eric. So I currently bag judges right now. I started out with the blends, but they got too floppy for me. I do a spin kind of push putt type thing, and so I switched to Prime, and I really liked it, and I found a classic hard, and I've been playing around with it. But I can't quite tell the difference between the Prime and the Classic Hard. Eric, I know you putt with the Prime judges, and I was just curious as to why you chose Prime over the Classic Hard, and then what are the main characteristic difference in the Classic Hard and Prime? Cool. Thanks, guys. Oh, and great move on picking up Danny Lindahl for Team DD. His videos and form critiques and everything he does is great. I'm glad to see he's getting a little help from you guys, but he's doing some awesome stuff. Anyways, thanks for answering my question. Keep it up. Bye.
Cool. Yeah, Danny's a great guy.
Agreed.
He's I've always thought he does some really good videos out there. So
yeah, smart kid too.
Yeah. So the difference for me in Prime and Classic Hard, the Prime just. For me, the reason I'm liking the Prime a little bit more for putting is it seems to be just a touch softer than the Classic Hard. The Classic Hard just seems to be like rock hard.
They can be bricks.
And I personally feel like I get a little straighter flight out of the Prime than I do the Classics. I know the Classics from distance putts, I have to put a lot more turn on it, and I have to kind of almost change my putting style to even get it to the basket. As where the Prime, I can keep my consistent slight slight ante to nose up release. And, excuse me, it's going to fly relatively straight. It is going to hyzer out at the end, but not quite as hard. It's not going to bite quite as hard as the classic hards do. I guess it is kind of difficult to tell the difference in the two if you just kind of have both of them in your hand if they don't have a stock stamp on them. The best way that I can, I mean, I guess I just kind of know just by grabbing it and feeling it, but one characteristic I can tell is the durability of the plastic is just a little bit better on the classic cards than it is the prime. The prime's going to be the lowest grade of plastic that we offer, which is why it's the most inexpensive. It will beat in a lot quicker, but it's just a touch softer. So in between, I almost say in between the hard and the prime, but closer to the hard as far as stiffness goes.
Yep.
So.
Very cool. All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for the questions. Thank you so much for submitting those.
Did we get through all 50 questions? Or?
No, we did not.
Close.
Yeah, right.
Really close.
Did we get through all the...
We didn't even get through all the Speakpipe, but we're hitting at an hour and 20 minutes. So
we're stepping on Smashbox time.
Yeah, we want to give people a break, and we will get to these questions next week. We'll make sure that we do it before we leave, because we're going to leave Thursday. Right? So we'll record on the regular Tuesday, and then we'll have an episode for you guys before we head out. So thanks again, guys, for listening. Please make sure if you have a moment to go to iTunes and rate and review our show. We really appreciate you guys doing that. Thanks for continuing to send them. 5 stars, yes, would be nice. Thanks for continue to sending questions in. Make sure you subscribe to us on Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. What did I do?
Nothing. It was just supposed to be really subtle.
Oh,
and you're like,
laughing at. Yeah.
Yes, 5 stars would be great.
It's like subliminal advertising, but then you just brought it to the forefront. That's funny.
Search Dynamic Discs on all the social media platforms and follow us so you know everything that's going on. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.